Hey, welcome to my review of Pokemon Journeys, episode 55, The Tale of the Luminous Maze Forest and You. So we start off with Kaharu at the lab, where a mysterious book falls down, showcasing Galarian Ponyta and Rapidash. As she looks at it, she suddenly sees a Ponyta looking at an injured Rapidash. She brings the Pokemon up with her father, and they get a crash course in how they're different from the Cantonian variants, blah blah blah. She's interested in seeing them as other boys, so he sends them off to the Galar region. They go to the Glimwood Tangle, and yeah, just for the record, the Luminous Forest is the Glimwood Tangle, so we're going to move on calling it the Glimwood Tangle. Anyway, this was a pretty good start to the episode. You get the hook with a mysterious book and seeing a Ponyta, you have Sakuragi mentioning that it's rare for Kaharu to be interested about Pokemon, so it's good to see her being more interested in the world, to be honest. In Galar, Kaharu tells them that the Ponytas are rare, and they took that form because of all the mysterious energies in the forest. The boys get distracted by a Morlul and chase it off, while Eevee and Kaharu see a Ponyta and head in the opposite direction. I'm going to say right here, right now, that I love the portrayal of the Glimwood Tangle here. It really captures the fairy tale-like vibe, and that's going to be more of a thing going on. Anyway, Go and Cinderace capture Morlul, and they ask where Kaharu is. She's off chasing Ponyta, who leads them deeper into the woods, and down a cliff, and then at the bottom, they find the injured Rapidash that she saw before. Ponyta led her here to help, as its heal pulse can't heal Rapidash's injured leg, and I find it funny that we're dealing with an injured leg here, considering that Go thanked Kaharu when helping Suicune recover from its injured leg. It's a fun callback. But in this case, Kaharu pulls a book out and recognizes that in the book, a Rapidash gets injured too, and it tells her what can be used to heal it. So she's off to go get some dew from some flowers, but it's pretty obvious what this episode is doing. It's having her relive this legend. The boys meanwhile try to reach her, but can't, and Go reveals to Ash that whenever they went camping as kids, Kaharu would never get scared, and it's pretty gutsy. I like that, you know? Go and Kaharu's friendship is pretty interesting, and getting more insight to what Go feels about it is pretty neat, and I hope that we get more of that in the future. The boys find Bolonlia, and they sit down. The Fairy-type gym leader Opal, but she doesn't call herself Fairy-type gym leader, criticizes them for their lack of pink. They ask if she's seen Kaharu, and she quizzes them for the answer. And okay, I love the quiz in the game, and it pretty much plays out the same here. So the boys get the questions wrong, and it turns out they have no pink in their hearts. She offers them pink loaves. Sadly, not a huge amount comes from this interaction with her. It's basically just an aside to keep the boys occupied. Back in the forest, Kaharu couldn't reach them on their phone, and the rain stops. They continue the hunt for the dew. Ponyta heals a little injury that Eevee took, and it copies Ponyta to heal an injury that Kaharu took. Some Impidimps jump out as they get to the flowers and steal Kaharu's stuff. Honestly, I'd say that this is the weakest part of the episode, since they're just messing with Kaharu and the Pokemon. Eevee just keeps on copying them. It's clear that they're just playing around, so there's no real stakes or anything. Not to say this is a bad section at all, but it's the least enjoyable bit. The payoff is that the Impidimps get her the dew with some water, and they leave. And she's back to Rapidash. The dew with a combined might of Ponyta and Eevee using Heal Pulse is enough to get Rapidash back to full health. The two horses take Kaharu and Eevee to Bolonlia, where the boys are still being quizzed, and dressed up ridiculously. Opal tells them that the answer was to wait rather than search a tangle, and she praises Kaharu for getting the Ponyta and Rapidash to open up. The boys scare the horses away by being loud. Before we know it, we're back at the lab with Kaharu waking up. The boys come in and tell her that Sakuragi is done working for the day, and considering she was prompted to go reading by Sakuragi telling her that he's not done working, it gives the impression that she fell asleep while reading and this was all a dream. However, Go's Morlul walks alongside him to assure us that it did happen. Alright, so first of all, what I really liked was the whole fairy tale nature of this story. Obviously the design of the tangle really does lend itself well to this type of story, but I think that setup of a girl from a far off land arriving to aid a magical creature would be right at place in the fairy tale. But I love that having the book with the story helps inform her what she needs to do. It's a fun take on it. The whole episode has that magical atmosphere, the book just falling down before her, seeing Ponyta and Rapidash out of the blue, and of course trying to imply it was all a dream. Which on that last point, I'm not really fond of that. It's just thrown in at the last second, but the plot point is dropped so quick, it's like, what's even the point? But even then, it's not really an issue, is it? This was about Kaharu in her own space away from her boys, having to deal with a problem by herself, and they handled this one well. She carries the story in a pretty interesting way. It does feel like it could have been the build-up to her catching Ponyta, but I'll be honest, and say that I'm fine that she didn't. Eevee hasn't really had enough focus yet, no need to detract any attention that it could get right now. Now the boys are just sort of here to be shoved to the side. As I said, I appreciate getting a little bit more of a look into Go and Kaharu's friendship. Go also works towards advancing his goal by getting Morlul, and I have to admit though, I do wish Opal could have revealed that she was a gym leader of Bolonlia, since that could be a setup for a battle for Ash to look forward to in the future. It would just be a nice little thing. Honestly, it was just an all-around enjoyable episode. I'm always down for more Kaharu focus, and there just isn't anything I disliked here. If you like Kaharu, definitely give it a watch. You won't get much out of it if you don't though. I got to say, definitely down for more Pokemon Fairy Tales.